Okay, here we are. Perfect.
Here we
So
are.
if you saw the previous little clip that we streamed, we didn't know why it was so blurry, and then we finally realized it was the camera on the computer. So
Note to self.
note to self.
Note to
So
self.
hello, good morning. So we are here, and Dana, next second podcast on bulimia. And I want to have Katie introduce herself. This is the beautiful Katie Porter.
Hi, everybody. I am Katie Porter. I am a fitness coach, specializes in Pilates. I am also a certified minister and counselor, and I specialize in the area of recovery and particular women and working with recovery in different areas. I'm also a recovering bulimic, and Marla has been instrumental in helping me with my journey since we've been working together for years now. And I'm just incredibly grateful. And I'm so grateful to be here today and just support you and the work that you're doing because it's really beneficial and it's amazing. So
Thank you, Katie. Thank you
Thanks,
so
Marla.
much. So, in case you don't know who I am, my name is Marla Past. I am also a recovered and recovering bulimic. It's a day at a time, not only because of the AA experience, but because that's the truth. I am an author. I have a book. It's called Life After Eating. There it is. It's going to be on my stand store very soon. You can see it in the link here, Beauty Frequency. Basically, what that book is about is my journey through bulimia, and the reason that I wrote it was because it is one of the loneliest illnesses. Let me come back here with you, Katie. One of the loneliest illnesses out there. You're by yourself. It's you in the toilet, you in the food, you and your thoughts, and it's pretty lonely. And when I actually got on the road of major recovery, which took years, by the way, I thought, let me share this story so that whoever's out there, please pick it up and be my friend. I'm available anytime to talk, to chat, to help, whatever you need. But don't be alone with that, because that's one of the worst things, is not having a witness to your life. And nobody is going to, I'm not judging you. I'm too busy. I was too busy trying not to judge myself. I'm also a medical manual therapist. I am a nutritionist. I am a chef. I am an entrepreneur. I opened a gym for overweight children. I've done many things. And what we were discussing before was what was behind all my accomplishments up until now has always been to get better, finding the answer. Oh, if I become a manual therapist, look at what it does. I need that. I need to know how to fix my body manually because I'm suffering and I don't nobody has the answer for me. Why what if I become a chef? Yes, then I could change my relationship to food. I'll embrace the food. So I opened a restaurant and a bar, and I still was bulimic. Um, but I enjoyed all of it. But what if I become a nutritionist? Then I'll understand the ins and outs of all the nourishment. That was actually a big one. And then I wanted to open up a gym for overweight children because my happiest time, because I was an overweight child, was when I went to camp with other overweight children. They call it fat camp. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't the fattest person in the room. And I was able to move, which I always love to do no matter what weight I was in. And there wasn't any judgment. That's just a little brief synopsis of what I have accomplished and what Katie has accomplished. It's so much more, but truly this is all about sharing with you and letting you know who we are, and that we are of pure heart and want to be friend all of you out there who are suffering with binge eating disorder, bulimia, anorexia, all of it. Our specialty obviously is both binge eating and bulimia, right, Katie?
Yes,
Since they go hand in
hand
hand.
in hand.
The anorexics out there, please feel free to join in. We will do what we can, because anorexia and bulimia also can hold hands. But I've never been anorexic. Close, but I didn't like when I felt too skinny. So then I knew I wasn't anorexic. I was just bulimic. Good for me.
Yeah.
But yeah. And you
Yeah.
yourself, Katie, have you ever been anorexic?
I've never been anorexic. It just wasn't. It just wasn't my journey. But
Yeah. But we're here for you as well.
I identify with the thinking and the mentality of obsession and compulsion. but not to that nature. Yeah.
Okay, and so that being said, I want to give you an idea of what actually goes on in a bulimic's mind. Okay, so hang on, let me just see if this is the right recording. What goes on in the head of a bulimic? You ready, Katie? Let's go. I'm too fat.
People are judging me.
I'm not good enough.
They're staring at my thighs.
If I was thinner, my life would be better.
People would accept me more.
I hate my body.
I can't stand looking in any mirrors.
Why do I live like this?
I am the ugliest person that ever walked this earth.
I want to jump out of my skin. I'm worthless.
I am completely disgusting. If only they saw what was inside.
Why did I eat that?
Why did I eat that?
Why did I eat that?
Why did I eat
What
that?
am I going to eat?
What am I going to eat?
What diet am I going to be on?
This is going to make you gain 600 pounds.
Now I have to throw it up. I really don't want to throw it up.
I don't want to throw it up. I'm going to be starving, but it's got to go.
I can't bear this feeling.
I can't bear this.
What am I going to eat?
They're never going to accept me if I look like this.
If I eat this, I've ruined my life. I can't do anything tomorrow. I have to stay home.
I have to stay home. I cannot go out today.
I have to hibernate.
I'm staying in. It's not even worth it.
I'm staying in. I'm not going out until I'm thin.
I'm not going out until nothing fits.
Nothing fits, and I don't like the way I look. I will never go into a dressing room.
It doesn't matter that it says that I'm a size 2. I feel like I'm a size 50.
They're lying about the size.
They're lying about the sizes.
They're cut bigger.
They're definitely cut bigger.
What's the whole fat mode right now? Why is everybody okay with being fat? Are they all crazy?
Why do they put these shitty mirrors in here that make us look like we're 400 pounds?
Why do I have to get weighed when I go to the doctor?
They better weigh me backward.
They better not weigh me.
They're weighing me backward.
I am going to get on the scale when I get home after I throw my guts up.
It's their scale. It must be broken.
It's done. Okay, can we pause that? Okay, well, we have a visitor. Hang on.
It just
Hang
literally
on.
brings
Keep
tears to
talking.
my eyes to hear that recording. Our thinking is pretty.
Yes, keep talking, Katie, while I let my visitor in.
Our thinking is pretty
So we're recording a podcast.
disturbing, and it's painful to hear.
Come.
Hi.
So look, we have a visitor. Have a seat,
Hello.
Jessica.
Sure.
This is Jessica Powell,
Hi.
Dr. Powell. She is a psychologist,
Yes.
and she certainly understands about eating disorders and disordered eating.
Takes one to know.
So we just recorded. This is so exciting. I feel like I have a whole family.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point, right? To have a whole family. So of women that understand the nature of eating disorders, overeating, binge eating, compulsive eating, all those thoughts. We just recorded the thoughts that goes on in the mind of a bulimic.
Yes.
When you play this back, you'll hear it. And so let's introduce Jessica. Dr. Jessica, please just introduce yourself.
Well, hi. Yes, I think the thing that you just said is so true, that your recovery has to be bigger than your addiction.
Yes, let's get closer so they can see your beautiful
So
face.
I met Marla. Sorry, I had no idea we were doing this today. I met Marla maybe 6 months-ish ago, and she started helping me with really binge eating. And it's been something I struggled with since I was a child. It's been something that's been a big secret for me my whole life, and that's really kept me very sick with it. It's a way I've coped with everything, and didn't really even know it was a problem until I couldn't find these compensatory ways to lose the weight, So that's when I started our journey together. And finally finding some answers, which it is a big recovery has to be big.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty interesting. Binge eating, bulimia, they run hand in hand.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I mentioned to you, I was a binge eater from the time I was probably 4. If you read my book, it's in there, 4 until 18 when I discovered bulimia. And then I was still a binge eater, but I knew how to purge it, so I didn't show. So they run pretty neck and neck.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to address it, recovery, because you never know what you've been stuffing down. until you stop stuffing it down and then it starts to come up. You're going to have to live your life irregardless of whether you're binging or not. Life is going to come at you. But when you put down the food and you start to feel the feelings deep in every cell of your body, you can no longer deny that you have work to do. And it's brave. It's a brave thing to have to go recovery. But what is the alternative? I do believe it's death. And who wants to die like that? Nobody gets out of
Yeah.
life alive.
Right.
But, it's okay to die, but you want to have a life before. Apparently, I'm very popular. You want to have a life before your death. That's the most important thing in the world. Um, so what we played before was the mind of a bulimic. Can you relate? Please comment in the section wherever it says comments. I want to hear from you. And I also want to give you some understanding of what I've learned. Every psychologist, except you, who I've ever been to, a social worker, and I've been to many because, has always said, "Oh my God, it's because of your anxiety. It's a mental illness." And to their point, yes, but then I would leave the office and go and eat. Okay, why would I do that? Why would I do that? I just spent time with this incredible person. They let me talk about myself, which I love to do, for like an hour. They didn't charge me $3 million. It was a social worker, so they were pretty reasonable at the time, right? And I couldn't wait to tear out of the office and eat. I was starving. Now let's talk about that on an emotional level. Yes, the emotions came up. I wasn't particularly upset, maybe a little mad at my mother because she comes up a lot, um, as we all have our mother stuff. But truly, I knew that there was something underneath why I was eating. It wasn't just because I was anxious, and it wasn't because I was pissed at my mom, God bless her soul, or the man that rejected me. It wasn't just that. You know what it was? It was malnourishment. My body was starving. Physiologically, when the body is hungry, it wants to eat. The problem with a bulimic is we associate eating with getting fat. Any kind of eating we associate with something negative. So until I started to change my mindset through proper nutrition and therapy
Yes.
and friends and counseling and doing all the work on myself, I couldn't get a handle on it.
Mm-hmm.
I literally had to change my mind about food.
Yes.
So I want to talk today about changing one's mind, okay? And what that entails.
Can I say one thing, Marla?
Yes, please.
I want to say it's, I do think it's a and both situation. It's both eating, I think, is us being these little beings having a very creative solution to the challenge of living the human condition, which is no one teaches us that big feelings are part of the human condition. It's a gift, really, to be able to feel terror and to feel rage. And it informs us, but it is so scary. And so few of us are taught really how to contain that, manage it. And so, as little beings, we find, food makes us feel better.
Right. It's like
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful, and we are eaters by nature. You come out of your mother's womb, and the first thing you're on the breast, right?
But then you eat a certain way, and it depletes you physically, and you're malnourished in certain ways and depleted. And then this is what makes it impossible to stop. The combination of the two, that it fixes what you see to be the problem. I think we're in an epidemic of fear in this country right now more than ever, where I think eating disorders are going to run rampant because what do kids have control over? Very, very little. The only thing they have access to, sometimes it's a way to be safe, but it's safe in the unsafest way.
Correct. And I want to just acknowledge too, because I know that you just had a moment. Katie just shared a moment with me where she was able to let go of a lot of anger towards a situation in her life, as we all have them. And it's been a year, and she did it, and you didn't eat over it.
No, I did not.
How do you feel?
I feel great.
Empowered.
I feel like stuffing all those feelings down and holding it down I was self-destructing myself by doing that. And I felt like the moment that even though I always want to take high road, sometimes just expressing yourself doesn't mean that you're being like a bad person or a mean person. Sometimes you just need to get it out. And I'm like, I can't self-destruct myself anymore because of someone that was destructive in my life. And so just getting it out and saying, this is how I feel, it helped me a lot to not be controlled by those feelings.
Freedom, and then not to stuff them.
Not to stuff them down.
So are you hearing this? She didn't stuff a feeling.
Yeah.
And it's uncomfortable not to stuff a feeling.
It's uncomfortable.
But
what's the alternative?
Yeah, it was keeping me sick.
It's going to come up anyway.
Exactly.
It's going to come up anyway.
And the more you do it, the more comfortable with it
you become, until you start living in a body, either if you're a binge eater that's over 200 pounds or bulimic who's got other symptoms, hair loss and sores on their face and rashes and dehydration. And we don't even need to go over that, because if you are actively bulimic, for me, when somebody would tell me how sick I would get, that would make me want to throw up more, because it'd make me more anxious. But what I want to briefly touch on today before we end, because I have to treat Jessica and Katie, which I'm happy to, manual therapy, not, is meditation, how to change one's mind. So I'm not going to say to you, sit for 20 minutes or 30 minutes and start meditating. But what I am going to say to you today is, if you could do one thing before you eat a meal, anything, I don't care if it's a piece of something, if it's a vitamin, anything you put in your body orally, I'd like you to sit for a moment, 1 moment, and be present to it and just give thanks. Just say, thank you for this thing that I'm putting in my mouth, because I know it's going to nourish my body in the right way. And I'm not going to judge myself, whatever the dialogue is, but just take a moment of consciousness. You have to build on that, because once you really develop the muscle of consciousness, you will never again put something in your mouth without at least an ounce of gratitude, because gratitude is the highest form of receptivity, as our dear friend Dr. Joe Dispenza says. And gratitude will heal your body. The mind will heal your body. So you have to get your mind right. I don't care if it's broccoli or if it's an M&M. If you're going to put it in your body with a negative thought, it's going to be toxic. So bless the food before you eat it, whatever it is. Take that moment. Can we all do that today? Can we ask our friends to do that today?
Yes. And can I say one thing about that?
Who could stop you?
Because for me, I think doing that was it felt very unnatural at first and very fake. Like almost my head was like, okay, yeah, you're doing this because Marla told you to do this, but like, you really know this is just making you fat. And I just did it anyway. And over time, you come to believe it when you do it. So it's okay if you don't believe it right away. If you think I'm just doing this to do it, it's okay.
It's okay. All I want to say is, how can it hurt?
It can't.
Yeah. Might it help? Would you, my beautiful princess, like to add anything?
Just take it a day at a time. Try not to be your own worst enemy and beat yourself up, and just love yourself today. You're worth it. You're worth the love.
Okay. This is us. Jessica, Katie, and Marla. So happy you enjoyed our visit and you came and shared our living space with us, our working space. And I look forward to hearing your comments, and we will be back next Friday morning. Okay? See you on the flip flop.
Beautiful.
There we
Thank
go.
you.
Okay, how do I stop this? Katie? We're trying to stop this now, so.
Yeah, it's the bloopers.
This is what goes on behind the scenes. How many women does it take to stop a recording?
Remember last time you exited out? I was scared.